All right, guys, so now it's time for you to get to work. So now it's your job to actually apply the concepts that we have worked on, which is known as action items. So I've created these action items for you to actually go out and apply everything so you can actually start progressing throughout the course. So the goal of our part 4 action items is to make sure you can identify chart patterns and read price action to execute high quality trades. So once again, by part 4, by now, you should be able to understand everything about the platform. You should have a basic and solid understanding of price action, such as volume, gaps, chart phases, support and resistance, and you should have a solid idea of chart patterns, and you should know what to look for. So what we're gonna do is we are going to put that to test. So that's where these action items kick in. So your homework or your assignment that you must complete before moving on to the next part is the following. So you're gonna go on the on-demand feature on Think or Swim Ameritrade, or use tradingsim.com to go back in time to analyze the following patterns. So once again, if you have Think or Swim, you can use the on-demand feature. Now, if you don't have Think or Swim, it's totally fine. You can use tradingsim.com if you want to. Now, if you're someone that doesn't want to do the assignments, it's fine. Part 4, if you want, you can kind of sort of skip, but I would recommend for you to actually go through and try it just so you can start building the building blocks up starting now. Now, towards the end of this video, I do go over each one of the action items. I do go over the questions, I answer them. So don't watch that part yet, but for now, let's just understand what your assignment is. So what your assignment is you have to look at the following stocks, and your job is to identify the patterns. So what you're gonna do once again is you're gonna go on the on-demand feature or tradingsim.com. That's if you don't have this. You're gonna go back in time and you're gonna trade each one of these stocks. There's 9 stocks here. Now, for example, let's say you start with Shack. Right here we have Shack, SHAK, we have IDXS, we have different stocks. So let's say you start off with stock Shack. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go back in time and you're gonna start from 9/27/2019. So this is where you're gonna start. Since it's a daily time frame, you're gonna focus more so as a daily play. You're not gonna go into crazy intraday. You can if you want, but the chart pattern is on a daily time frame. So I'm kind of making it a little bit easy for you. But your job is to identify it. So you're gonna start on 9/27/2019 and you're gonna move all the way towards till 10/23/19. Your goal is in between here is to trade if you see a setup. If you don't see a setup, skip it. Now, if you go to another one such as Square, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start from 10/18/2019. So you're gonna start from 10/18/2019 and you're gonna start from 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The play is on a 5-minute chart. Obviously, you can alternate between the time frames, and then from 9:30 a.m., you're gonna go minute by minute till 12:10 p.m. The whole idea of this assignment is to allow yourself to get better at price action and to allow yourself to understand chart patterns and see them. Because like I mentioned before, I can show you guys chart patterns all day, but when you're actually in between the trade, when you're in the middle of the trade, identifying the chart pattern then is extremely hard and much different than going back in time and identifying it. So I'm gonna give you an example of how you would do one of the assignments. And like I said, you're required to do all 9. Once you do the 9, you can go towards the end of the video, end of this video, and you can see all the answers. But up until you do 9, you can also go on the forum, you can ask questions on the forum, and if you want, you can post your setups on the forum. Hey, this is what I did. Hey, that's what I did. Also, the last thing I want you to know is right now, we have not covered everything. We haven't covered risk management. We haven't covered level 2 time and sales. We haven't went in depth with price action. We haven't done all these things. We haven't looked at other factors such as the market, such as catalysts. So I don't want you to think this is it. This is just one component. Right? There's other things that we have to add to this to actually become better traders. But like I said, this is one part, and after this one part is done and you have mastered it, we are then going to move on to the next part and the next part and the next part, right? So now let me show you how you would do an example. So let's say you were supposed to do stock Shack, right? So the way you're gonna do, stock Shake. All right, so I'm going to show you an example of how to do the on-demand assignment. So let's say you're doing the first one, okay? You're doing stock Shack, right? Since you're doing the first stock, you're going to start from 9/27/2019 before the market opens. So you're always going to start at 9:30 a.m., right? And you're going to pause it. So for example, in this situation, I would go to on-demand, right? I'm going to go to, let me remove everything real quick. I'm gonna go to 9:27, right? 9:27, and I'm just gonna change this to 9:20 is okay. Anything before the market is opened, just so you're on the same page. So I have 9:20 a.m. Right now, once I have that, I'm gonna go to Stock Shack. And now my job here is when you look at this by itself, you're not gonna see anything. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna apply your levels, what you have learned, right? Resistance, support, and then kind of identify what do you see. Identify your levels. Hey, that's my level. What do I see, right? For this one, I'll give you guys what it is just so you guys can see. You can see what is being formed, and then you can make an assumption. Do I think it's gonna go up? Do I think it's gonna go down? Like I mentioned, we don't have all the tools yet, right? We don't have everything. We don't have the market factors. We don't have the catalyst, especially when we're trading on a daily chart. But the whole goal of this assignment is for you to try to analyze. Do you see a pattern? What would you do? Are you buying? Are you shorting? What are you doing? Once that's established, if you see something today, great, trade it. If not, you say, you know what? I'm going to go to the next trading day. I go to the next trading day. What happened? What am I looking to do? So on, and you're gonna keep going until you get to 10/23/2019, and you're gonna do the same thing for the other stocks. Now, if you're trading a stock like, let's say, Square, right, and you're starting at 10/18/2019, what you're gonna do, same concept, 10/18/2019, right? I'm gonna go on Square, and what I'm gonna do, let me just clear everything. Is at this point, same concept. Everything I have learned, I'm going to apply my levels of support, my levels of resistance, not gonna apply anything. And then I'm gonna go to a 5-minute chart and see if there is any sort of pattern or any sort of play that I see. If you see it, great. If not, it's okay, you can skip. Now, once you get here, you're gonna start from 9:30 a.m. You guys can see I'm at 9:30 a.m. You're gonna play and you're gonna go minute by minute. Now, if you're having a hard time with this assignment, and I know some people will have a hard time, it's totally okay because I'm gonna have a lot more of these assignments. So if you're having a very difficult time, don't stress it. Just go back to the time, see what you saw before, and then look at after, right? Like I said, towards the end of this video, I am going to show you the answers and show you what I would do or where the patterns are or what the play is, right? So once again, that is your assignment. And now at this point, you should stop the video, and everything after this video is going to be me breaking down the plays. So stop the video and go and do the assignment right now, guys. All right, guys, so let's go over the first example. We're gonna go over Stock Shack, right? We're gonna look at this. So we're gonna start off from 9/27, September 27, 2019. And like I said, whenever you guys look at a stock for the first time, you want to look at the big picture. So I'm going to look at a 3-year 1-day chart, and I'm going to look at the big picture. Now, when I look at a 3-year 1-day chart on Stock Shack, I don't need all of this information. This is not required. When I'm applying my critical levels, I only care about where the stock is trading at. So I only care about this. Since I only care about that, I can zoom in and I can start applying my levels of resistance, right, or areas of supply and areas of demand. As you guys can see, this is resistance, this is the all-time high, tries to go to that level again, around that level, gets rejected, right? Same thing here, stock goes up, has a hard time, moving away from this area. I'm gonna put it right here, 95, and let me just apply this. So as you guys can see, this is a very, very tight and sensitive area for this stock, right? So you can see it makes a strong move up, has a hard time, moves up, support, moves up, hitting support. Now, when you guys are doing your chart action and applying your key levels, what you need to understand is at this point, you're not looking for any pattern. So right now, I'm not looking for any pattern. I'm not going into a play saying I need to look for this pattern or that pattern. All I do is I look at the chart and I see what the chart is presenting and what it may possibly do. Now, like I mentioned, if a stock is going from $55 all the way to $105, there is obviously a reason behind it. Right now, if that stock is going to start falling, there's also a reason behind it. That's where catalyst, that's where news kicks in. Obviously, we're not going to look at the news aspect. The only thing we're going to look at right here is we are just going to look at the price action concept to make things simple, right? So once these levels are established, as I mentioned, your job is to see if there's a certain play. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes behind the play than just trying to look for a chart pattern, because we're not ever going to enter a trade saying, hey, is there a chart pattern? I'm looking for this chart pattern. I'm looking for that chart pattern. We're just going to trade as whatever the market gives us. If the market is giving us this, we are going to approach it with that trade idea. So as of right now, what is being approached? So what we see is we basically see a double top. Now, has the double top fully formed? No, it has not fully formed. For this double top to fully form, it would need to break this 95 area. If this can break the 95 area on high volume, that will give us a strong confirmation to short, right, or to buy puts, right? Whatever we want to do, we would be able to do that if it breaks that level. So at this point, what we would do is we would create a trade setup. We would say, you know what? If this stock gets to 95, I'm going to short with a stop loss maybe around 97, and obviously profit take maybe at, I don't know, let's say 90, right? Now, I don't want to go in depth with profit taking. I don't want to go in depth with where to, properly set your stop or where to take profits yet. I am going to break that down. I just want to focus on the things we've learned. So based on the things we've learned, that's what I would be looking for. I would be looking for this break. If this break does not happen, it is no pattern at all. Right now, if this goes up and does this, now that is a triple top. But the trade is not there unless it breaks the neckline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip from the 27th to October 2nd, just to kind of go through the trade. Now, if you take a look right here, on October 1st, you guys can see a strong move down. Now, how is that a strong move down? What showcases that that's a strong move? If you look right here, look at volume, right? If you take a look at volume, look at this number, right? Volume goes to 1.1 mil, right? It's 870,000, 900,000 before, 870 before, 800 before, 936 before, 768 before, 644 before. So obviously this has a surge in volume. You can see volume does surge up. That is showcasing a strong move down. And if you guys take a look at this, there is a strong candle. Now, the way to trade this would be on this day. So on October 1st, the day it broke 95, you should have been on an intraday time frame, meaning you should have been on a 5-minute, a 15-minute. And you can see the moment it broke that level, you can see right here. If you guys take a look, you can see it breaks this range. The moment it breaks that range, you look at volume, volume is surging up. That's giving you a strong confirmation. Now, that's where you can say, you know what, I'm going to buy, I'm going to short here, and as I short here, I can either have a stop loss at this point, depending on how tight you want to have your stop, or I can have a stop loss at that point. That depends on you, on how you want to take the trade. Some people would be comfortable in taking this trade here, trying to make a quick trade, and they're out. Now, if you're trading it on a bigger picture and you're like, you know what, I see it on a daily, I want to ride this down all the way till 88. You short, you put your stop loss there, and you start playing the trade out. I'm going to skip to the 21st on this, right, just to kind of show you guys the actual price action, actually 23rd, just to show you what happened. Now, this is the complete play, and on the complete play, you guys can see the breakdown happens right there. On the breakout, the stock retested the resistance area, which was a support area before. It went down, hit that 88 level, right? That's the same level that we established. So if you took this trade here, your profit target was obviously, or should have been around here. You should have maybe exited here. Right now, I hate doing videos like this because it's like, you should have done this, you could have done that, blah, blah, blah. And it's very easy, and I understand that. I have more videos where I live trade, right, towards the end, and you can actually see my thought process. You can actually see where I mess up, what I do good in. So that's why I'm not really a big fan of breaking these videos down, because if I took this trade, for me to say I would have shorted here and I would have got out here and I would have done this, I'd be lying. It's impossible, because there's a lot of other factors, but I'm showing you a perfect trade setup on what would be an ideal trade, right? But I'm not saying that I would perfectly be able to do that. This is what I would like to do. So I don't want you guys to get that twisted, because yes, going back in time, looking at some trades, it's very easy to say I buy here, I short there, I do this, I do that. That's not my goal with this. My goal with this is just for you guys to see, understand, and then obviously I have live videos of me trading so you guys get a better understanding. Same thing with this play. You can see breakout, hits that support level, boom, you guys can see that's first trade. Second trade is there's a sell-off, bear flag, boom, strong sell-off. That's the second trade. Obviously, we're not going past this date, but if you just look at simple price action, you can see. First, we have a double top, right? Breaks down, hits our area of support, we take profit, and then the second play we have is, you can see, strong move down, bear flag, breaks the bear flag. If you don't want to take that trade, you can take this trade and take a nice short position, right? So that's the first stock, right? So if you traded something like that, great. If you saw the double top, phenomenal. If you saw the bear flag, phenomenal. If not, it's okay. You're gonna get better and better within more practice, right? So let's jump on to our second example. Our second example starts on stock IDXS, IDXS, right? XX, IDXS. So IDXS starts on October 2nd, 2018. So October 2nd, 2018, I'm gonna go on that date, and as I go on that date, I'm going to put in stock IDXX. Now, looking at IDXS, what do we see here? Like I mentioned, when we look at a stock for the first time, we wanna look at a long-term picture. When I look at a long-term picture, what do I see? I see that this is obviously on a healthy uptrend. Everyone should be able to identify that. This stock is on a very, very healthy uptrend. That is very clear. That's number one. Number two is I want to identify my levels of support and my levels of resistance. So once I do that, I would have something that maybe looks like that. Once that is identified, this is a clean, clear-cut price action example. I can see what's going on. I see that the stock was on a nice uptrend. If you guys take a look right here, healthy uptrend, right? Nice uptrend. What happens right here? Stock is trading sideways. Now, based on chart phases, what we went over in part 3, this is kind of taking a break. Now, if it obviously breaks out of 254, this could be a continuation move. But right now, we don't know what's happening. We don't try to predict anything. The only thing we do is we create trade setups. Now, the way we create trade setups is we can say, hey, this could be a triple top, could be a head and shoulders, right? This is one shoulder, head, another shoulder, both very similar concepts. Or this could just be a stock taking a break. So I've been watching stock IDXX. As I've been watching this, I'm looking for either a breakout for a continuation move, or I'm looking for a sell-off below 238 so I can possibly short. Now, obviously, I don't know what's gonna happen, but my job is to create setups, right? Now, I'm just gonna skip to October 24th just to show you guys the end, and you guys can see what happens. Now, if you take a look here, this was a strong break, right? I'm not gonna go through it minute by minute or day by day, but I just want you guys to see the aftermath. This was a strong break for two reasons. Number one, break support. We have support at 238. You guys can see, obviously support gets messy here. It got messy here because of earnings, but you can see breaks support, which was resistance, became support, support, support. And second, besides support, we have something called confluence. We have our trend line breaking, and we have our support level breaking, and if you focus more, the stock also kind of gapped down. Very strong move. So looking at this day, right, if we were to trade this and we were to look at 10-4, right, let's say we were to look at 10-4, what we should have seen is on 10-4, we had a very strong sell-off. Sell off on the open, consolidation, and it was bleeding throughout the day. Next day, try to reverse, sell off again, right? That's being seen on a daily chart. The idea is to identify these patterns. The idea is to read price action, read the chart pattern on a large time frame, and then if there is a trade, we work our way down to a smaller time frame. And you can see on this chart, smaller time frame, you can see what's happening. Gaps down, breaks support, breaks trend line, strong sell-off all the way from about $240 to about $210. This was a great setup, very straightforward, very easy, and obviously, like I said, when you play a chart on a daily time frame, you can also look at catalyst, news, market events. These are other things we're going to consider once we get to that level. All right, right here we're looking at stock TTD. We are on December 13th, 2018, and this is what we have. Like I mentioned, we start from a larger time period. We identify our areas of support and resistance. Obviously, I have something there. Obviously, I can apply more things around right there. And I'm just going to apply more and more examples. Right now, the reason I'm applying a bunch of lines, I'll explain it to you in a bit, is because this has gotten very, very, very messy. So at this point, the reason I've applied this level is because that's the area of gap. That's the gap that needs to be filled. And this was the first area of gap. So as I apply my levels, what I like to do is first and foremost, at times, I would go through it and I would look at all of the levels that kind of make sense. As I look at all the levels that kind of make sense, I then start eliminating certain levels. So at this point, these are the levels that make sense for stock TTD. So what do I see with stock TTD? Number one, I see it's very choppy. It's all over the place, gapped up, had solid earnings. That's why I probably ran. Earnings again, stock went super, super choppy, and it has been all over the place at the current moment. So now, if you guys are trading one of these patterns and you don't like it, and you're not a fan of what price action says, you don't have to trade it. You're not forced to trade it. So in this situation, what do I see? Right here, I see that the stock has made or rallied very, very aggressively on the upside. As it rallied, it got rejected, pulled back. It's trying to break that 148 area again. Now, I know there's support at 133, resistance at 148. Once that is done, I can try to identify if there's a chart pattern or if anything is being formulated. Right now, this could be the stock just taking a small break before a continuation move up, or it could be somewhat of a double top, but it doesn't make a perfect double top, but it still is looking somewhat of a double top, or maybe it's giving us a triangle pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip to 1228 just to see what happens, right? Just so you guys can see. Now, when you look here, you can see on 1228, strong breakdown on the downside, huge volume, stock starts selling off. Now, me personally, I'll be honest, I wouldn't play this. I've seen this happen last year, but I didn't play it. I didn't touch this. But this was a potential double top, not the best double top, but the whole idea of me showing you this is to show you that the idea of a double top is what we care about. This is the idea of a double top. You can see it breaks the neckline, sell-off happens, right? Now, if you don't recognize it at times or you don't want to play it because it looks very messy, you don't have to, but the trade idea here was a double top. Strong breakdown, right? Huge volume, aggressive selling. That was the play on stock TTD, right? Now let's jump on to the next example. All right, so now we're gonna go over stock Apple. We're looking at Apple. We're in a 3-year, 1-day chart. Once again, that means we are looking at 3 years worth of information, and each candle represents 1 day worth of information, right? So now, once again, we apply our critical levels. We start applying 233, was obviously the all-time high. That automatically becomes our resistance point because 233.47 was the all-time high. Then when I go down, I start understanding that this area is a very congested area from 228 to about 233, right? Next, I apply my level of support, find my critical areas. Now, as that's done, and as I identify these areas, what I do next is I look at the chart and I understand what's going on. Now, if you guys take a look here, you guys will be able to see that there is a few things going on. That's number one with Apple. And number two with Apple is right here. If you guys take a look, you can see when I get the top, and I'm gonna apply that. That's what we have going on with Apple. You can see the range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip and we're gonna fast forward to now. Now, if you guys take a look, I fast forwarded from October 10, 2019, and you can see what happens right here. This is the same level. A few things happened here, okay? Let's understanding price action. A few things happened. Number one, on October 11th, the first thing that happened, right? I'll go on October 11th just to show you guys what happened. If you go to October 11th, you can see the first thing that happened. I'm gonna go to 14th just so we can have a day skip. The first thing that happened is the stock gapped up. So we have a gap. Remember, a gap up is a strong move on the upside, right? Number two, it gapped up above this area. It also gapped up above the all-time high of 233.47. So that already gives us a high probability that this stock may go up. Now, if you guys look at the intraday price movement, right, you can see what the intraday price movement does. Stock opens up strong, takes a break, opens up strong, takes a break, closes strong. Same thing next day, opens up and starts making a strong move up, right? So that's what's being shown on stock Apple. Now, some people might be questioning, well, how do I possibly make money buying a $233 stock? This is where you buy calls. This is where you trade options. That's if you're looking to trade options. If you're not looking to trade options, it's fine, but this is where you look to trade options. Now, this pattern or this formation can happen in any other stock, right? The formation or the pattern that we see here is obviously we see that price action is getting tighter and tighter. That's number one. Number two, we see a strong gap. And as the gap happens, the third thing we see, you guys can see right here, it breaks the all-time high. Once a stock breaks the all-time high, everyone is watching that stock and there's a lot of focus on that stock. So this was a quick day trade, for this stock. Very easy, straightforward play, especially if you are trading options. So now let's jump on to the next example. All right, so right here, we're looking at stock Square. Right, as we're looking at stock Square, I'm going to start off from a larger time period, maybe a weekly. You can even start from a weekly. Just apply my critical levels just to see where areas of support and resistance are, and then I'm going to work my way down. Once I do that, I am now going to go to my intraday 5-minute time frame. As I go to my 5-minute time frame, I'm going to play and I'm going to let the stock roll out. Now remember, looking at certain plays, the play on this is on a 5-minute chart. It is not on a daily time frame. So don't go on a daily looking for a chart pattern. I'm giving you guys hints and ideas. So once again, there's nothing on the daily. As I mentioned, the play is on a 5-minute chart. Now obviously, when you start at 9:33, your whole job is to watch this play until 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and try to find the pattern. Now the pattern that's formulated in here, I'm just gonna fast forward. And if you guys went minute by minute and you were patient, is right here. You guys should be able to see. Very straightforward pattern, right? Everyone should be able to see that. What is that? What's happening here? What's going on? This is a very straightforward pattern, right? Everyone should be able to identify that. What happens? Stock has a massive sell-off, consolidates, hits a low of 61.59. As it hits that low, boom. That is giving you your opportunity to short. That is your trading opportunity. So if you were watching this stock this whole time, maybe you could have traded something here, but the actual pattern, the bear flag was right here, and the solid trade could have been A. You could have had your first entry here, or your second entry could be right here, and you can see how the stock actually plays out. Now, as you play it out, I obviously want you to exit the trade see where you would take profits, see all these things. Like I mentioned, we haven't covered everything yet for you to fully 100% understand, but this would be a huge element of a very important element to focus on being patient, because a lot of times when you guys trade, and you're going to see more and more of this, you might have to wait a whole hour or 2 hours sometimes for a play to come to you. Sometimes it may not happen right away. Obviously, this started selling off on the open, so you could have maybe shorted or maybe bought puts on the open. But obviously, if you're waiting for a pattern or if you're looking for a pattern, this is the play with stock square, right? So now let's go over to the next example, BA. Let's break down stock BA now. Now, stock BA formulated on 10/23, so I'm going to change the time to 9:39, and I'm going to go to stock BA on 10/23. So when I go to 10/23 on stock BA, I'm going to look and I'm going to see what is being presented. So this is BA. Now, if you guys take a look at BA, you guys should be able to see what's happening. So BA opens up strong, opens up nice. And like I mentioned, when you're trading these big names, looking at the market is very important, but we're not going to focus on that just yet. You can see stock opens up strong, hits resistance, pulls back to an area of support, goes back up. What is this forming? This is forming a potential double top on a 5-minute chart. And you can see volume also spikes up on that breakdown. And you can see strong red candle. This is giving you your opportunity or your trade signal to enter. And you can see strong sell-off, strong sell-off. Now, obviously, when you're trading these patterns, usually it kind of duplicates this, right? So taking profit somewhere around here would be ideal, or when you see it starts reversing, right? Now, in this situation, obviously, if you short here, I'd maybe put my stop loss somewhere around there, just so I don't get stopped out. But the whole idea of these trades that I want you guys to practice, and you should have practiced with, is to understand the price action movement minute by minute. What actually happens? Oh man, it's going in 5 minutes, but what if we went by each 1 minute candle? This is 1 minute candle. What happens? Would you exit on this green candle? Would you exit on this green candle? Would you panic? What would you do? So doing this exercise, A, is making you find the pattern, same exact thing, first top, neckline, second top, break of the neckline, right? You can see increase in volume, strong move down, and that's what we are looking to do. We are looking to take that trade and short it from that area from there. And then obviously the next concept is once you're in the trade, manage your position and see where you would exit, see how you would react. And obviously, like I mentioned, when you're doing this exercise on the on-demand feature, it's very different than doing it with real money in a live setting where emotions are sky high. So that's also where everything kind of gets a little bit different, right? Next, let's go over stock here. So I'm gonna go back on the on-demand feature and I'm gonna jump to stock here. All right, let's go to stock here. I'm gonna jump to 8/23/2018. So when I go to 8/23/2018, once again, I'm going to go to stock here. Now, when I go to stock here, I do the same exact concept. I look at a large time frame. I look at a big time frame and I analyze what the large time frame is showcasing. So it's just loading. When you guys use the on-demand feature at times, it's going to load a little bit. Now, when you look here, this is what we see with here. Now, as we see this, what I want you to understand is your goal is to apply your levels. Apply your levels. What is going on? So when we apply our levels on stock here and you guys start from 8/23/2018, the first thing you guys should see is that the stock obviously makes a huge run up, right? It's making a huge run up. So what is going on right here? So what we see right here is we see a head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Now, obviously, the head and shoulder pattern is not complete until what happens, right? So you can see we have a trend line going over there too, but that obviously isn't going to matter much. The thing that's really going to matter, or that I'm really going to care about the most, is I'm going to care about this line breaking, right? That's what I really care about. So at this point, what I see, as I mentioned, is a shoulder, head, and shoulder. Now, if it breaks 25.20, that would give us the ideal setup. Once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward to 920. This is where you guys should have traded this stock until, and when you look at this, you can see what's going on. When you look at 920, you can see shoulder, head, shoulder, boom, breakdown. Now let's go over this breakdown. Strong breakdown. You can see volume picks up, strong breakdown. It's retesting the resistance level and continues the sell-off. This is on a daily time frame. So if you were playing this, you'd be holding for 2 to 3 weeks on this play. That's if you're not trading on an intraday level, if you're not day trading, if you're swing trading, right? Stop, entry, profit target. Where would my profit target be? My profit target would be maybe around this level, right? It'd be around 20. Why? Because that is a critical point. That is a critical point. Risking this much to potentially make that much is a phenomenal trade. So once again, with stock here, we have a head and shoulders pattern. Great setup, worked out, great for us, right? Next, we're looking at stock ROKU. Let's jump to stock ROKU and see what ROKU is presenting. So when we go to stock ROKU, we are looking at 1017, right? And when we go on 1017, we start identifying what we see. So the whole idea of ROKU is for you to trade it on the open. When you trade ROKU, I'm just gonna fast forward till the end of the day and just see what is being presented. Once we get to ROKU towards the end of the day, you can see same concept, same exact concept. Gets rejected. Stock goes up, bears rejected, pulls back, boom, strong breakout. You can see volume there too, showcasing a strong breakout, strong green candles, showcasing aggressive buying, and you can see this is giving you the trade idea right here. That's reading simple price action, but you have to be able to wait and see these patterns form. I'm rushing into them. I'm going from the beginning till the end. But when you guys are doing this, you guys should be seeing each minute by minute, and you should be analyzing the play. You should be analyzing what's going on. You'd be analyzing how you would play this. So when you are watching it, it should be moving minute by minute, and you should say, well, would I buy this? Well, it looks like a strong breakout. Cool, I'd buy it. It's breaking the pre-market highs. It's making a high of the day. So at this point, I'd be a buyer because of reason X, Y, and Z. And then the last one we are going to go over Amazon. So if you guys take a look at Amazon right here, let's break down Amazon. Let's see what Amazon is showcasing. So Amazon at 1018, you guys to take a look at 1018, this is what it showcased. It showcased a bear flag. Stock fell, boom, bear flag. Beautiful setup. You guys could see that. And like I mentioned, when you see these setups, obviously me showing them to you right now is very, very easy. But if you guys did the assignments and you actually went through everything like I said, you guys would be able to analyze these a lot better, and you would see obviously it's much, much, much harder when you do it live. So when you're doing it live, all you see is you see a sell-off, like, all right, what's going on? Okay, bear flag, okay, I will short if it breaks 1768. Boom, that's your shorting play. Right, and then obviously I want to see where you would take profits, which I'm going to break down in the upcoming videos. So these are all the patterns, just the full assignments that I kind of broke down for you guys. Just to recap everything, just so everyone is on the same page. Let me just get on this screen real quick. What I want you guys to understand, and it's very important, we haven't covered everything yet, guys. We haven't went over risk management. We haven't went over strategies. We haven't went over entry and exit points. We haven't went over when and where to move your stop loss. We haven't went over what other things to look at, what other things to consider. The only thing I'm focusing on right now is what we have learned, right? Only thing, once again, I'm focusing on is what we have learned. So I don't want you to say, well, oh, that's it? That's all we have to do? Or for some people that have traded and are more advanced to say, wow, that's not it. There's more to it. Yes, I know there's more to it, and I'm going to get to all of it. But my goal is before we move on to another part, and once one part is completed, I want you guys to have a full understanding of that part. And that's why I'm making you do these action items so you can apply yourself. If you're someone that does not want to do the action items, that's completely up to you. But I do recommend doing it. It is very hard and very annoying to do so, and it requires a lot of time, but I promise it is going to help you on becoming a better trader. It's going to help you on identifying certain plays, and it is going to give you that quality screen time and practice that you need.